Hellebores are one of my favorite perennials for a shade garden, and once you start growing them, you'll understand why. These elegant, long-lived plants bloom when most of the garden is still waking up, adding a much-needed burst of color in late winter and early spring. With their evergreen foliage and low-maintenance nature, hellebores are a must-have for any garden, especially if you're looking to brighten up a shady corner. In this guide, I'll walk you through everything you need to know about growing hellebores successfully. And don't forget to subscribe to and share this guide with fellow gardeners. One of the things I love most about hellebores is their ability to thrive in areas where other flowers struggle. These plants are shade-loving, deer-resistant, and drought-tolerant once established. Their tough, leathery leaves stay green year-round, giving the garden structure even in the depths of winter. Plus, their nodding, rose-like flowers come in a variety of colors, from deep purples and soft pinks to creamy whites and even spotted varieties. Another reason hellebores are a garden favorite is their long bloom time. Depending on the variety and climate, they can flower from late winter through early spring, often before other perennials even start to emerge. This makes them an excellent choice for gardeners looking to extend their blooming season and bring early color to the landscape. Hellebores thrive in partial to full shade, making them perfect for areas beneath trees, along shaded borders, or in woodland garden settings. While they can tolerate some sun, especially in cooler climates, too much direct sunlight can scorch their leaves, so I always plant them where they get dappled shade or morning sun with afternoon protection. When it comes to soil, hellebores prefer well-draining, humus-rich soil. I always work in plenty of compost or organic matter before planting to improve soil structure and fertility. They like slightly alkaline to neutral soil, so if my soil is too acidic, I'll add a bit of garden lime to help balance the pH. Once established, they're incredibly resilient and require very little maintenance. When planting hellebores, I dig a hole twice the width of the root ball and just as deep. I set the plant in at the same depth it was growing in its nursery pot, as planting too deep can hinder blooming. After filling in with soil, I water thoroughly and apply a layer of mulch to help retain moisture and suppress weeds. Hellebores are drought-tolerant once established, but they do appreciate regular watering during their first year. I water deeply once a week if there's no rain, making sure not to let the soil stay soggy, as they don't like sitting in waterlogged conditions. Feeding hellebores isn't complicated. In early spring, just as new growth starts, I apply a balanced, slow-release fertilizer or top dress with compost. This provides the nutrients they need for healthy growth and abundant blooms. A second feeding in late summer can encourage strong roots and lush foliage. Pruning and maintenance of hellebores is pretty straightforward. They require minimal pruning, but a little maintenance can keep them looking their best. In late winter or early spring, before new flower buds emerge, I trim back old, tattered leaves to allow fresh foliage to shine. This not only improves their appearance but also helps prevent disease by increasing airflow around the base of the plant. Deadheading isn't necessary, as hellebores will naturally drop their spent flowers. However, if I want to prevent self-seeding, I'll remove the faded blooms before they set seed. If I'm growing hybrids, I also make sure to remove seedlings that pop up, as they might not produce flowers true to the parent plant. Propagating hellebores. One of the great things about hellebores is how easily they multiply. Over time, they form large clumps that can be divided to create new plants. The best time to divide hellebores is in early fall or after they finish blooming in late spring. I carefully dig up a mature clump, making sure to keep as much of the root system intact as possible. Using a sharp knife or spade, I divide the plant into sections, ensuring each has a good amount of roots and at least one healthy growing point. I then replant them immediately and water well to help them establish. Another way hellebores spread is through self-seeding. If I let the seed pods mature, I often find baby hellebore plants popping up around the garden. These seedlings can be carefully transplanted to new locations or left to naturalize for a more informal look. Pests and diseases. Hellebores are generally trouble-free, but like any plant, they can sometimes encounter issues. The most common problem I see is black spot, a fungal disease that causes dark patches on the leaves. To prevent this, I make sure to clean up old foliage in late winter and provide good airflow around the plants. Aphids can also occasionally appear on new growth. but I usually just spray them off with a strong stream of water, or introduce beneficial insects like ladybugs to keep their populations in check. Slugs and snails may nibble on young hellebore leaves, but a layer of crushed eggshells or organic slug bait around the base of the plant usually deters them. Using hellebores in the garden. Hellebores are incredibly versatile and can be used in a variety of garden settings. I love planting them alongside ferns, hostas, and other shade-loving perennials to create a lush, layered look. They also pair beautifully with early spring bulbs like snowdrops and daffodils, providing a stunning display of color in late winter and early spring. Since they're evergreen, hellebores also make excellent ground cover, especially in woodland gardens. I often use them to fill in spaces under trees where other plants struggle, and they never disappoint. Why every gardener should grow hellebores. If you're looking for a reliable, evergreen perennial that thrives in shade and provides months of beautiful blooms, hellebores are the perfect choice. They're easy to care for, resistant to deer and rabbits, and add year-round interest to the garden. Once established, they require very little effort, making them ideal for both beginner and experienced gardeners. With so many colors and varieties to choose from, hellebores can suit any garden style. Whether you're creating a woodland retreat, brightening up a shaded border, or simply adding more winter interest to your landscape, these plants are a fantastic investment. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to subscribe to Hydrohaven and share it with your fellow gardeners. Happy growing!